We are live. Live. Everyone's been announced in the Telegram. I tell you, man, Telegram, whoever set that up, this Russian guy, he did a great job. Especially ever since Parler and all these different apps have been... Well, you remember what happened to Parler. Parler was like an alternative to Twitter. And after a whole bunch of strange stuff happened during the election, the U.S. election, millions of people left the mainstream social media sites and went to Telegram. Very, very interesting. And then Parler as well. But then whose account was it? If you remember correctly, some of you will know. What app was it that got taken off of the App Store and essentially nerfed because a ton of people were talking truth on it? It wasn't, what was it, Parler? One of them got threatened though, and it's still a bit of a nervous thing because even though we have 72,000 people on the private uncensored Telegram channel, which is an amazing place, by the way. If you're not in the Telegram, I don't know why. There's so much stuff I want to tell you guys that I absolutely cannot discuss on here at all. And people ask all the time, I'm going to kick this guy out. He's just spamming some bullshit. So maybe it was Gab. But anyways, definitely make sure that you are in the private uncensored Telegram, because that's where I can discuss things that I can't discuss here. By the way, the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there's a question mark button. Make sure you hit that if you're actually trying to get your questions answered, because otherwise the comments fly by so fast, you know. So let's see. We got actually decent numbers. Let's check. What's the first question? Is it dangerous to work? Here's a good question. Is it dangerous to work near a 5G tower? So here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that many different cell towers can emit 5G anyway. Okay, that we just don't know exactly how much technological capabilities this thing has. Okay, but this is what I will say about, is it dangerous to work near a 5G tower? Okay, there is a man, and this is just a quick story, but it just goes to show, like, this is the type of thing you do not really hear about anywhere today. He worked at Telstra. It's like T-Mobile. It's a big major phone company in Australia. Okay, Australia, the same place right now where the military is going around enforcing that people don't hang out with people who aren't in their household. And the military is enforcing in Australia right now that you don't go further than 3 miles from your house. Wow. For your safety, you damn sheep. That's exactly what they're thinking that you are if we actually adhere to these types of things. But anyways, I'm not calling you guys a sheep. I mean, please. And plus, that's actually rude to sheep, because many times, at least sheep need a sheep dog to herd them, whereas human sheep just herd themselves, which is like a level below the intelligence of a damn sheep. You know what I'm talking about? So anyways, this guy worked for Telstra, and he was stationed in between two, like he was recently relocated from where he was working. He helped put up many cell towers and was a technician for it. He gets moved to a facility that's in between two gigantic brand new towers. And he starts feeling unwell. So what he does is he goes to a military surplus, business. He gets some surplus military hardware that's able to detect frequencies. He's getting basically a frequency analyzer, okay? And to answer aligning nature, chalks Irish moss changes color seasonally. Any Irish moss changes color seasonally based on sunlight and based on temperature of the ocean. It's a very good question. Most natural substances, their color varies seasonally. So he starts analyzing the frequencies that are coming off of these towers, okay? And he detected that the frequencies coming off these cell towers, 50,000 times the legal limit for radiation exposure that is allowed in public, okay? And so he sent a report into Telstra to say, hey, I discovered like these towers are kind of a bit more powerful than they should be, and that's not good. And what happened? Did they say, thank you so much, Mr. I think his name was John something. It was John something. And he says, Johnny, instead of promoting John for discovering that they're harming a lot of people with these cell towers, they fired John. They let him go. And they cut him off. And they fired him immediately. So John felt very unfortunate about this situation. And so he went, and what he did was this. This is the part where it gets strange. You wouldn't even believe that this is a real thing. When this guy who worked for a cell phone company found out that they're going to be still moving more and more of these cell towers into neighborhoods, despite the cell tower having significant harm, what he did was he went to a buddy's house, and this is, again, it gets weird. He stole a refurbished or restored World War II armored personnel carrier. Okay, so it's a like a tank, but without a turret on it. And he went and bulldozed 9 different bases of cell towers in the neighboring area. He got in a tank and ran over and destroyed a bunch of the generating stations for the cell towers, effectively disabling them. Now, he didn't do it because he thought that he didn't do that because he thought it would be the sustainable way to, stop frying people's brains with these cell towers. Instead, he did it to make a point, and he got on the news, and he was actually interviewed by the news, and I'm surprised they even gave him that coverage. But they said, he said, hey, I, needed to make a point, and I felt bad that I had been partially responsible for frying human DNA with all these cell towers that we put up across Australia. Let's just kick this glue bag out. Very strange, isn't it? So to answer the question, is it dangerous to work near a 5G tower? It may very well be, but you have to remember, if you don't have a ability to be in a different place than near a 5G tower, you may want to use power of the mind and visualize yourself surrounded by violet light, which is the highest frequency wavelength of light is violet. Hence, ultraviolet light actually purifies water. Wait till you see what happens when you visualize violet light or violet flame in your body. You will be purified and shielded from negative energies, including the cell tower stuff. Someone's like, dude, I'm a scientist, man. What you said is not true, you bastard. I'm sure someone's thinking that, but no, it is true. This is the spiritual abilities humans have. Visualize violet flame, you will be purified. So, very good question. Now let us see. Many, many questions have streamed in since that question. Where to contact you on Telegram? You pretty much can tag me when you join the private uncensored Telegram channel and you make a comment on any of the posts, you will see that another chat pops up that says Connecting Consciousness Chat. In that chat, if you click the at button and then type in connecting, you'll be able to tag me with a question and I can answer you on the private uncensored Telegram channel, which is in the link in my bio. Sam's Hologram 2020 said 200 to 500 meters away from the tower is worse than under it. Interesting. I would imagine so, because in some ways, if a tower is right across from you and you're in direct beam of it, but to be honest, hold on. I don't think that's better than being right under it, because if you're right under it, the caged in area usually says, like, do not go in this cage. The FCC warns you that the vibration or the radiation from these frequencies is so severe. So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I know that either way, it's a bit of a shit show. You got to stand away, try to get away from these damn cell towers that they're putting everywhere. And just so you know, isn't it interesting that that's the same thing that happened with our buddy Tyrone Hayes, who said, hey, Syngenta, company that I work for that makes chemicals, your chemical makes frogs reverse their gender. And he put in a report and they fired him because he spilled the beans. Tyrone Hayes worked at a chemical company and said, look, guys, we got to blow the whistle. We got to stop spraying this damn chemical. It's harming the frogs. It's going to harm the people. It could cause a lot of strange things. And instead of saying, hold on, I got to kick this person out. Instead of saying, sure, thank you so much, Tyrone, for bringing this to our attention, they fired him. So I'm sorry for those who are very naive and say, excuse me, how could all these corporations be in on it of this evil plan against humanity? Well, it's compartmentalized. It's vastly compartmentalized. All my live feeds will be posted. Not all of them, but most of my live feeds will be posted on my BitChute channel, which is an alternative to YouTube. You can get to that channel and watch my other live feeds by going to the link in my bio. I got one of my most viral live feeds is about giants, fairies, was it mermaids? Bigfoot, you name it, are all real. And I had a video on that. It's in my BitChute channel. You'll like it. It was a very good video. We had a good time. We were laughing. But I tell you, all these mythical fairy tale creatures are actually, someone in here is in a science course right now and they're watching it like in class. They're like, dude, this guy is so unscientific, man. But no, it is true that these entities do exist, especially most of them outside of the visible light spectrum. But again, someone super sciencey will have a hard time fathoming. So let's see. We got another bunch of questions. Does the moon belong to our system? The moon is kind of like dandelions. Someone's like, dude, what are you talking about? The moon is kind of like dandelions. The dandelion plant is not native to North America, but yet it's all over North America. It's been naturalized. The moon is not quite what we think it is, and it should not be. None of it makes sense. It only shows us one side of it at all times. That is very strange. There's many anomalies with it. They dropped a bomb on it in the 1970s, and it reverberated like a drum, like a bell, a metallic ringing sound for like 7 hours. It is a very strange thing. People say it's an ancient space station. Where do you think they got the idea for the Death Star from Star Wars? I mean, it's crazy. Things we wouldn't believe are true, and the things that you do believe are not true. This is how far this system goes. They're all in Russia, 7-foot+ men, but fossil giants went up to 24 feet. Yes, giants, exactly. We're talking about giants. So yes, now let me click another good question here, because I think I answered that one. So, basically the moon does not 100% belong to our system, but it's been here a long time, and the Earth is now kind of connected to it in a way that would actually be better if it wasn't. In terms of, the moon is the only system, or the only thing that if you think about it, when it's a full moon, stuff happens. Murder rates go up. Energies are amplified with the moon. Good and bad negative energies, right? And so it is a bit of a strange thing, and there's a lot of theories on it, but I can tell you this. There's a reason why the satanic elite, who are actually inferior, who are manipulating our world, sacrificing children, having child trafficking and shits. There's a reason that those negative societies, those secret societies, those secret religions, those worship the moon, and they do not worship the sun. When does a werewolf come out? That evil ass entity comes out on a full moon. Vampires, they just like darkness. I don't know if they like the moon. All these evil things come out of darkness. The moon comes out in the darkness. And the moon also emits cold light. You think if this is true, if the mainstream story is true, the moon reflects sunlight. If the moon is reflecting sunlight and that's why it's lit up, then why is it that the light that emits from the moon gives off a cold light? So for example, if there's something that's in the direct moonlight and then there's something that's in the shade of the moonlight, in the shade of the moonlight is warmer than in the direct light from the moon. So if it's bouncing off sunlight, why the Sam Dam is it colder? Because it's not bouncing off sunlight. It is self-luminescent. It's nothing to do with what we think. In other words, what we think is not actually the accurate thing. Keep in mind who invented NASA and these space agency bullshits who are controlled by, again, mostly satanic folks who, derive from World War II. You have all the German scientists that were controlled and taken over by, again, secret societies and people who do evil things, brought all those scientists to work for NASA and the CIA. So don't be surprised if most of what you were told in school is completely false. Or should I say, welcome the possibility that everything that you have heard in school is 99% false. Welcome that possibility. I don't want to say don't be surprised, because when you say don't be something, you're putting out the opposite of what you want. What do I want you to do? Be open to the idea that what you learned is false. What do I not want you to do? Be surprised. So I shouldn't say don't be surprised. That's not very NLP. That's not very vibrationally conscious language, etc. So anyways, the moon, not what we think it is. Great question. Now, let us see. Someone's like, dude, that was just the tip of the iceberg, man. You got to keep going. Ikimaro said, do you think New York's move on requiring the first schmaccination for customers and workers for restaurants and gyms is America's first step into the NWO, the New World Order? I would say it's several steps in, big guy. I would say it is several steps in. But we can't talk about that type of thing on here. Make sure you join me on my Telegram channel. We can't be talking about those types of things, especially if I'm not saying all that stuff is a great idea. Otherwise, I will be canned. My ass will be canned off Instagram, man. Is inhaling green bad for spirituality? So I suppose this fellow is discussing green as in the plant, okay, cannabis, marijuana, etc. What is NLP? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So anyways, green. Is smoking weed good or bad? Many people have this question. Everyone thinks I'm high because the whatever people join the live feed, they say, dude, this guy's high. No, you're probably high. That's why you're projecting onto me that I'm high just because my eye shape isn't the same as yours. Fuck off. But anyways, green, smoking weed, good or bad? Very good question. Very good question. The situation with weed is this. Thousands of years ago, weed, cannabis, marijuana was growing around the world in different places. And it was just this plant that was just hanging out. And it had some, natives and indigenous folks would like to smoke it. People in, when the seed started getting spread around the world, we had the ancient, many different cultures. Indians, okay, from India, many cultures smoked weed. Malaysians, you name it. But the thing is that weed, thousands of years ago, was like 3% THC. 3% THC, 5% CBD, low amounts of psychoactive compounds, the things that gets you high, okay? Today, we have weed that has 20 to 30% THC. And then on top of that, it has a high amount of CBD. Now, let me just say this. Before you say, dude, you bastard, let me just say this. It has medicinal properties. That much is known. We have seen people who had all types of neurological things, and then they use the extracts of weed, the stuff that doesn't even get you high, and they use that to heal different parts of the body. Yes, that is literally true. And that is a very powerful purpose for it. But the best, most medicinal way to get weed into you is not getting high. It's the inactive tinctures of it that is actually the best for you. Smoking weed, you're destroying 90-something% by burning it. You're destroying 90% of the benefits of it. And all you're getting is high from it. High with 30% THC, which is 10 times or more the amount that there should be in there in terms of the amount of THC that should be in there. What happens, and again, someone's high right now watching this, and they may be tripping out, yo. No, but what I'm saying is you may want to just be aware. For some people, let me say, even weed that is high THC, for some people, they need it. Whether they had PTSD, whether they saw some strange things and it helps them get calm. Like there is purposes for these types of things. Every plant out there has a purpose, okay? But then there are people who don't need it, who don't require it medicinally, and they're smoking weed every day. Now, keep in mind, here's the situation. If you cannot go a day without something, in other words, if you are dependent on something, it has control over you. You don't want to be in a situation where you don't have control over your own life because you are reliant or dependent on a substance, a psychoactive substance, any type of substance, all right? Whether it's coffee, whether it's tobacco, which actually is an ancient healing modality, whether it's, all these things. If you're 100% dependent on it and you can't go a day without it, that's when you want to take a break, okay? Now, Trey Sean's Life said smoke doesn't belong in the lungs. And that is true. Smoke really doesn't belong in the lungs. And then people say they saw that video of me smoking a cigar. They're like, dude, you're smoking a cigar, you bastard. You're supposed to be healthy. Hey, first thing, organic tobacco is healing, and nicotine from organic tobacco is therapeutic, okay? Someone's going to say, dude, I never heard that before, man. Tobacco, it causes cancer, man. What are you talking about? No, GMO tobacco with 7,000 chemicals on it causes those types of ailments. Organic tobacco has been used for thousands of years. It is ancient and healing, but you got to know how to use it. You can't just, let's kick this complete fool out of here. I don't mean to call you a damn fool, man, but you come on here. The adventures of the guy who just started paying attention. But anyways, when you're smoking a cigar, you don't inhale it either. So your lungs are good, but smoke generally isn't designed for your lungs. The best way, if you are trying to experience the psychoactive compounds of cannabis, then you'd be better off vaping it than smoking it, because smoking is quite harsh for your lungs. But I don't even recommend that, man, because I find a lot of people go and are stoned all the time, and they potentially are holding themselves back. Other people like to smoke weed and then get a lot done, and it varies. Me personally, don't smoke weed. I don't smoke weed, for all those who ask, yo man, are you high? And yeah, high on life. And not to mention, if you do get stoned enough consistently with the THC, that's 30%, your endocannabinoid receptors in your brain can start to fall over, which can affect your dopamine production, your dopamine receptors, the ability for you to feel happy naturally and feel satisfied naturally without a psychoactive substance. So, yes. Now, the guy who said you lost me with the tobacco, man, almost every single ancient culture throughout the equator, okay, wherever tobacco dam came from, they loved it. It's got nicotine in it, which has therapeutic effects on the brain. There's clinical studies that nicotine has therapeutic effects on the brain. There's studies that show that tobacco is a very grounding, it has a very grounding vibrational frequency. But most tobacco, are you surprised that tobacco is one of the first substances or first crops that Monsanto genetically modified? So most people are smoking GMO tobacco sprayed with 70,000 pesticides. That's what I don't think is cool. They've bastardized a ancient substance that is quite actually beneficial and has many purposes. Yo, it's Caden said, just got my Shilajit and Irish Moss. Thank you. Hey, thank you, brother. Keep me posted on your results. Take the 90-day chalk challenge. I want to see how you're feeling. I want to hear how you're feeling. That's a powerful combination too. Irish Moss, full matrix of minerals, and the Shilajit. Holy Kreipenheimer, dude. Go easy, man. That's a lot of superfoods. Monty Patron said, I know, dude, it's Patron. But all smoke can't be bad, because then sage and frankincense and stuff like that would be bad then too, right? Good question. In small doses, like the smell when you smoke, when you have sage smoking, when you burn sage and you get the smoke in there and it purifies there, that's good. But, if you're huffing in sage all the time, that's not good. So it goes to show, we got to think about the amount, Can you talk about the cons of vaping? Yes, vaping is basically all con. However, smoking is worse. Smoking cigarettes is worse than vaping if it's not organic tobacco. So which foot are you shooting yourself in? Smoking cigarettes bungs you up, super harmful. You'll have a heart attack at some point. But if they're organic, that's better. But if you're vaping, you're getting propylene glycol, antifreeze, and other harmful substances in your lungs, which will give you popcorn lung or cauliflower ear, whichever one it is. And someone just laughed. I know I just made someone crack up. But your lungs turn into a damn cauliflower when you vape enough. And no one has any studies on that stuff, what it does to you after a long time. So forget about the vape, throw that away. Forget about the Juul, okay? Put the cigarettes down, stop smoking weed, become a purist, okay? Shave your hair off, become a monk, wear an orange robe, and get rid of all your black clothing, as we've talked about the effects of that. and then become a highest vibration. Someone's joining like, dude, what is this bastard talking about, man? He's chirping all the things I do. Oh yeah, stop drinking. I mean, all kinds of things. Many different things, one step at a time, everyone. Do not feel overwhelmed about all the different things that you got to do to enhance your lifestyle, your life, okay? Your day-to-day, your reality, okay? Is air conditioning bad? I'll tell you this. When I'm driving through a neighborhood and it's 25 degrees out, nice and warm, and I hear the AC on in some of these people's houses, I'm thinking, man, are you kidding me? AC, 25 degrees, open your damn windows, let a breeze throw it, let a breeze blow through. Enjoy the heat, unless it's super humidity. I mean, all I'm saying is this. Overuse of AC is not good, for sure, for sure. Let's see, a bunch of questions are streaming in. What should I drink if I don't have a natural spring in my area? Well, I would say this. What should I drink if I don't have a natural spring in my area? Go to findaspring.com and find one. If it's 7 hours away, bring 7 weeks worth of water jugs to fill up. Otherwise, go enter the contest to win a free reverse osmosis system at Chalk Instagram. They're doing a giveaway right now. You got to enter. You got to do a few things to win. I was making a joke about shaving my head, man. I was making a joke about the monks, But it's funny because when you talk about, hair is an antenna, then you have people say, well, what about the monks? They're pretty spiritual and they don't have any hair. Well, they shave it off. But also keep in mind the power of the mind. You could have super long hair and be a calcified sheep. You could have zinged, balded head, and you could still be high vibes if your pineal gland is active and you're getting her going, So yes, very good question. Someone said something very foolish about, I think they're making a joke. That's good. Yes, exactly. That's true, Charisma. You're paying attention, clearly. Let's see. We got a whole bunch of holy Kreipenheimer. Matthews said, you talked before about how people not getting attracted to who they biologically should be getting attracted to. Can you elaborate on why that comes to be in modern society? Yes, I can tell you that right damn now, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you start thinking about this for a moment. So we have a situation where the human body, okay, you know how the idea of men and women both produce pheromones, which are invisible. Someone's like, what scents are visible? Pheromones are a odorless excretion from the human body that you cannot detect consciously. No one can say, I smell a pheromone. They are covert chemical reactions in your body. And these pheromones emit, and subconsciously, if you are a biological combination with someone else, you will emit certain pheromones that attract that person subconsciously. So for example, in an ideal world, here's a guy over here, and he has his hormones optimized. He has his testosterone levels right where they should be. He has no toxic chemicals flowing through his body. He's emitting pheromones as he's walking around. Pheromones, okay, floating through the air. He walks by some women and they go, that guy stinks. No, I'm just kidding. But they sniff potentially. And just naturally, subconscious, subliminal chemical reactions are triggered in the female mind that biologically attract a woman to a male that could be of a proper biological connection, okay? Now, today, what have we? What have we today, okay? We have men drinking fluoride that have 5% of the amount of testosterone they should have. We have women taking birth control that throws all of their endocrine system completely out of whack. It could cause infertility. They could never be able to have a baby in the future or get pregnant if they've taken birth control for a certain amount of years. Monsanto owns like 7 birth control companies, complete depopulation agenda. And we have a population now where most people also are either wearing synthetic. Listen to this for a moment, because every time I go walking out into town, okay, I walk by people and everyone stinks. And I'm not talking about sweat. I'd rather them stink like sweat. At least that's natural scent. People stink like fabric softener. They stink like laundry detergent. They stink like perfume. They stink like cologne. Everybody damn stinks, man. It's very, very rarely, unless someone is fully woke to synthetic fragrances and how toxic they are, then they're going to be stinking like something. Shitty arm pit stick, crappy toxic synthetic laundry detergent that stinks on them all every single day. So, unless someone is fully woke, they're being exposed to synthetic fragrances. Synthetic fragrances, just so you know, and listen, hear me very clearly here, because this is not any stretch of an imagination. Synthetic fragrances like Febreze, like Glade, like Airwick, cologne, perfume, deodorant, all the things that contain synthetic fragrances are a weapon against humanity. Someone's like, dude, you're fucking overreacting, man. It's just it may be bad, but they don't know it is bad. And they're just trying to wrap their heads around. Listen, if every single damn company out there, every organization out there that's supposed to be protecting our health and safety, you got all these major companies, these organizations that are here to public safety. You got the FDA, the EPA. We protect the environment, the EPA. No, you just make it so we can't remove the emission system out of diesel trucks because you say it's illegal to have a diesel truck run how it's supposed to damn run. So while the EPA goes after people with trucks, they're allowing millions of people to pollute their vehicles, their homes, their offices, public places, etc., with synthetic chemicals, synthetic fragrances. These synthetic fragrances like Airwick and like Febreze, they do not make the air cleaner. They coat your nasal cavity in a synthetic petrochemical that makes you unable to detect any other scents, okay? It makes you unable to detect any other smells. So it does not make the air cleaner. It makes you only able to detect one smell, and that's the synthetic smell. Now, how is this a weapon against humanity? Someone's like, dude, I got this big bucket of Tide pods here, or I got a big thing of Tide, this super blue laundry detergent. I'm sure it's safe, man. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selling it. Excuse me. But if you go and look at the bottles of these ingredients, there's no ingredient list. If you go and look at the Tide or all these different companies, you will not see any ingredient list. They are not legally required to give you a ingredient list of what chemicals you're putting onto your clothing, which then you are then absorbing into your skin by wearing it the next day after you wash it, etc. So how the damn is synthetic fragrance is a weapon against humanity? How is my Febreze spraying in the bathroom or spraying in my home or wiping shit down with a scented candles? Don't even get me started on damn scented candles, man. How are these things a weapon against humanity, you may say? I'll tell you how. You have to ask yourself this question. And yes, makeup is toxic too. That's right. We'll talk about that in a moment. You have to ask yourself this question. Is it a coincidence that thousands, tens of thousands of consumer products contain a chemical that lower testosterone, that reduce sperm count, that cause infertility and reproductive harm for women, and cause a complete dysfunction of the endocrine system? Please, do you think that it is a coincidence that tens of thousands of consumer products in our world cause infertility? Like, please, man, do you think that's a coincidence? Literally. Yeah, it is, man. They don't know. These companies that are supposed to make sure that shit's clean are just really dropping the ball for decades. They just really don't know what they're doing for decades, man. Is that your real sentiment? Is that really what you believe? So, my point is this. To answer your question, I don't even know whose question I was damn answering now. But it's clear that this agenda is upon us. Oh, yes. That's right. Pheromones. So, if every single guy and most every single girl are exposed to these chemicals that reduce their fertility, that reduce their sperm count, reduce testosterone, that alter their estrogen levels, etc., then they're emitting completely imbalanced, if any, pheromones. If you stop let me tell you this. If you take animals in nature and you stop, Entheos, take it easy, big guy. I already told you, please. Hey, if you take animals in nature and you stop them from producing pheromones, they won't even reproduce. Not because they're infertile, but they will not reproduce. If you give hormone disrupting chemicals to animals, they'll reproduce with animals that are weak. And then you disrupt the survival of the fittest mentality of the natural world and the selective selection, natural selection. What happens to society globally, worldwide, if everyone's producing improper amounts and whatnot of pheromones that are supposed to attract a mate that is biologically compatible with you? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a damn genius. I'm counting a couple little particles of bullshit from the system and trying to calculate it together and figure out, is it a coincidence? Why would they be doing it? And I'll tell you, this evil plan is a long-term plan. They're not trying to take over and enslave humanity next year. They're trying to make it, and fuck man, this is no stretch of the imagination. They're trying to make it so that there's less people to have to enslave. Depopulation. Very simple. Someone's thinking, dude, come on, man. I'm chill. I'm in my city. It's a big city. We're having a good time. You're telling me they're trying to depopulate us, this evil system? Yeah, literally. Unless you think that it's a coincidence that tens of thousands of consumer products just happen to accidentally contain ingredients that cause infertility and cause men to reduce testosterone levels and women to make you unable to reproduce and give birth to a baby. Unless you think that's a coincidence, then I'll take that. That's a blue pill, man. The blue pill is you take the blue pill, you forget everything you heard, and you go back to being a complete sheep. The red pill is you go down the damn rabbit hole and see how far this can go. You saw the Matrix. So blue pill is, it's an accident. They don't know these things. They still got to catch up. The red pill is, this is an orchestrated, devious, organized plan against humanity. And now you're thinking, dude, is this real life? Am I even existing right now? Is this shit real? It fully is. We incarnated and signed up to experience a reality where humanity is going through one hell of a fight. This fight is between me, you, and a system of organized psychopaths that are influenced by entities outside of the visible light spectrum. So how do we win? All I can say is this. I just watched a clip last night of the movie Tomorrowland, okay? And thank you, your local author. I watched a clip, and in this movie Tomorrowland, and don't watch it, don't go waste your time watching these Hollywood movies that are bullshit, but there's the only thing that you do get out of Hollywood movies is little pills, breadcrumbs of truth. And in this clip, they showed, basically, they have a time machine, and this guy's like, oh, you can use this time machine to go back in time, but we can also use it to go forward in time and see the future. And this chick's like, whoa, no way, man, that's so awesome. So they're going around, and she goes into the future, looks into the future, rather. And the future is that Earth is destroyed, nuclear bombs, it's chaos, it's fucking shitty world. And then she's like, long story short, I'm bastardizing it here, but she's like, I don't want that kind of world. He's like, sorry, like it's bound to happen. The Earth is doomed. It's bound to happen. This is what this guy's saying. She says, no, we're in the present right now. The future hasn't happened yet, so I know that it doesn't have to be that way and that it can be changed. And when she said that I don't want it to be that, or whatever she said was basically that she doesn't want the world to be destroyed and ended. When she said that, the audio, whatever, the video flickered and it went to a future reality where the earth is not destroyed. Let me explain the significance of what Hollywood is punching you in the forehead with that allegory. What they're telling you is that there's a possibility that the future of this world is rather unfavorable. That's one possible future timeline. It's about timelines, okay? There's Project Looking Glass. It's a military declassified project where they tested the ability to influence from the present what the future will be. And it's a very interesting concept, and it's a very interesting study. And it's true. So the military and the satanic elite know that there's many different types of future realities. Some of them suck. Some of them are great. The reason that the reality flickered for this girl in this movie is because she visualized the future reality of Earth being positive, and she changed the optimal timeline reality that the Earth was on by visualizing it. So let me explain something to you. With millions of people going, oh, the Earth sucks, this shit's going to happen, the world sucks, this is a negative reality, this is going to be evil, they're helping manifest that. Contrary to that would be visualizing and working towards and supporting a reality that is very positive. That changes the optimal timeline reality of Earth. Yes, I know that there's a timeline reality possibility of Earth where I'm in a literal 5G concentration camp, aka smart city, with facial recognition cameras, and I got a device that is, connected to my social credit system. I myself am connected to the cloud. I have no freedom of thought. I'm infertile. That is one future possibility, but that is not the damn one that I am manifesting. And I know that we will not get to that one because my reality is very different than the reality that maybe other people are manifesting. The reason for that is visualization. Now, let me get to the precipice of this. Your visualization comes by way of your intuition, comes by way of your pineal gland, your third eye. Your third eye, your pineal gland. That gland in the middle of your brain that has rods and cones just like your regular eyes, but it is not for visible wavelengths of light. It is for other frequencies of energy and information that exist outside of the visible light spectrum. Why do you think there's so many pollutants and endocrine disrupting chemicals in the food and water supply? Because they want your visualization capabilities to be weak so that you cannot visualize a positive reality future timeline for Earth, so that their negative future timeline for Earth is what we get. It's a war on your imagination. And of course, your pineal gland is the connection point between your physical body and your soul. So there is a war on your pineal gland and your third eye and your endocrine system. Very simple. Yes, there's a war on fertility. Yes, they're trying to depopulate, but they also are specifically waging war against your pineal gland, your third eye, because otherwise you can manifest an optimal timeline reality of Earth, which is not you in a 5G facial recognition smart city with no freedoms. So when you realize that one of the keys to freedom is visualizing and making sure that we have believing wholeheartedly, without a doubt, that we will be manifesting, that we are manifesting a positive timeline reality, etc., then you are helping manifest that. However, you know that when your pineal gland is decalcified, when your endocrine system is functioning optimally, your visualization, your manifestation capabilities are 10x'd, all right? 100x'd. In other words, hundreds of times more manifestational capabilities you have if your pineal gland is decalcified, if your endocrine system is functioning optimally. Very simple. We know fluoride calcifies our pineal gland. We know these pollutants are harmful to our system. So why don't we all vibrationally, quantumly manifest and materialize a positive, optimal timeline reality on Earth? That's it. And I saw yesterday, if you looked at my stories, on the way to this place I was going, on a birch tree next to the driveway, there was a humongous chaga mushroom growing out of the side of this tree. Chaga is one of the first 3 things that comes up on any search engine if you type in how to decalcify your pineal gland. Chaga, mushroom. Now I'm going to show you today how to make chaga tea, but I want you to know that that is rather a pain in the ass, and it's a lot easier to take chaga extract. And as you know, chaga extract is one of the main ingredients in the Chalk 7 Wonders. Okay? Chalk 7 Wonders contains 7 different adaptogenic mushrooms that are superfoods believed for thousands of years to decalcify the pineal gland, to increase concentration. Everyone's leaving reviews for this saying it's giving them mental clarity and concentration. That's because one of the main ingredients in here is also lion's mane. And lion's mane has been clinically studied to to upregulate nerve growth factor, to induce nerve growth factor, which means new brain cells, new neural pathways. That's why you get increased memory from it. That's why you get increased concentration when you're taking the 7 Wonders. However, keep in mind, while chaga is amazing in the 7 Wonders, the purified shilajit is the number 1 thing that pops up on any search engine if you type in how to decalcify the pineal gland. Purified shilajit. And remember how I mentioned that they're trying to destroy your ability to produce pheromones to attract a positive combination or a positive, someone who you actually are compatible rather with when it comes to reproducing because of all those pollutants? Purified shilajit is clinically studied to optimize endocrine system function and optimized pheromone production. So for anyone who's basically been cucked by the system with all these pharmaceuticals floating around in our world, BPA, microplastics, etc. When you start taking the purified shilajit, you are optimizing your endocrine system naturally with a superfood, true superfood that's been used for thousands of years for brain function, for energy metabolism, and more. This also supports a healthy metabolism. Chalk's launching ashwagandha this week. We'll talk about that soon. But keep in mind, this isn't believed to help with your endocrine system. Chalk has 8 different clinical studies specifically on this source of shilajit, on its ability to optimize endocrine system function. It boosts testosterone 21% in 90 days. It optimizes hormone production for women. And of course, it helps rejuvenate. It helps amplify a deeply rejuvenative and restorative sleep because it optimizes the production of melatonin. And melatonin is the sleep hormone. Very, very powerful. That's the purified shilajit. Keep in mind, the purified shilajit is also the main ingredient in the Chalk Daily, and that's the one that is specifically for men. The Daily is the only one that's specifically for men. The rest can be taken by men or women. Now, keep in mind, let's kick out this complete, I'm not even going to chirp him, man. Think about this for a moment. Millions of people, optimized endocrine systems, impenetrable pineal glands, optimal functioning endocrine systems, producing the optimal amount of pheromones, attracting compatible mates. That's natural selection. Now, this is why we may need to be very, very aware. This is a good question. Sathuraki Sir said, should girls take shilajit because of the testosterone? So shilajit is an adaptogen. That's a good question. Shilajit does not boost testosterone for women. It is an adaptogen. It adapts to the individual's needs and requirements. So it does not boost testosterone for women. It optimizes your ability to distribute and produce hormones throughout your body. Very, very powerful. That is the purified shilajit. Now, keep in mind, last night at 11 p.m., the previous Chalk codes were completely capped. No more Chalk discount codes, especially based on the fact, has anyone been paying attention to the supply chain disruptions that are happening all over the world? The supply chain disruptions that are happening when it comes to international trade, etc. So when I was talking to Chalk 2 days ago, they said, you better warn everyone. Okay, let me kick this guy out. You better warn everyone that we may not be able to be running discount codes if there's a disruption to our supply. Because some of our, the rhodiola rosea that's in the Action 2.0 comes from Siberia, okay? The shilajit comes from the Himalayan mountains. The Irish moss comes from Nova Scotia, all over the world. And if they try to disrupt the supply chains, if there's a cyber attack, all these things, there's going to be no discount codes for any Chalk supplement. So they want that to be known that this is not a, you don't know what you got till it's gone kind of thing. So they temporarily, final extended 15 to 20 slots for the 44% off lifetime discount using the code 44life, or the code 50 off for 50% off all orders store-wide. Temporary final extension on these two discount codes for a lifetime 44% off discount. And remember, for the guys, the most popular combination is the daily action combo. If you're taking the daily action combo, you will enhance your testosterone levels. You will increase motivation and confidence, 100%, I can guarantee you. Well, it's clinically studied, so I can guarantee I can this, I can that. But in any case, link in my bio for that one. Subscribe to the daily action combo, boost your testosterone, optimize your production of pheromones, attract an actual viable mate. You know, that thing that the system wants you to be depopulated and infertile. And then on top of that, and by the way, Shilajit is a powerful fertility booster. So keep that in mind. For women, the most popular combination is the Shilajit and either the Tomcat or the Shilajit and the 7 Wonders. Entheos, just let them ask, man. Answer questions about chalk rather than that. Shilajit and 7 Wonders, most popular combination for women because you're getting the brain building effects of the 7 Wonders with the chaga extract in there. You're getting the benefits of lion's mane, which causes nerve growth factor. This is seriously brain building. Combine that with the purified Shilajit, and then you're getting the 40 trace minerals. Remember that your DNA requires minerals to function. Your DNA requires minerals to rejuvenate and restore. So keep in mind, if you're getting the full matrix of minerals, because you're taking the Irish moss from chalk, and you're taking the Shilajit, and you're taking the other superfoods, let's say the Tonkat Ali, you're going to be feeling potentially like you have, I can guarantee this actually. If you've never taken any superfoods in your life, if you never supplemented with actual legit supplements, and even if at the same time you've eaten fully organic for decades, you are still, and I'm not being a negative Nancy here, okay? And I'm sorry to any Nancy who I just offended. But your body is in an altered chemical state if you are not taking superfoods, and you're not eating fully organic, and you're not getting the full matrix of minerals. Your body is biologically designed to get the full matrix of minerals every single day. And even if you're eating fully organic, you're only getting 5 to 10% of the minerals. So if you're not taking bioavailable Irish moss from chalk, high purity, and the 40 trace minerals from the Shilajit, I'm not even trying, just think about it for a second. You are designed to get the full matrix of minerals every single day. Your body is biologically created to do that. So please, let's think about this for a moment. If you're not getting them, you're in a lowered state. Simple. So what does it feel like to be in a heightened state? Well, this is what people don't talk about. Instead of talking about the risks of being literally in a chemically altered state, let's talk about the benefits of having the full matrix of minerals. Well, every single biological function in your body will be ignited properly with minerals. That's what they're designed to do. Brain function. Yeah, exactly. Electric Alkaline said it. Imagine running a huge machine without compromised circuits and wires. Exactly. You're just one machine. No, I'm just kidding. That's their idea to say that transhumanism, etc. But it's true. Your body, just like a computer, requires minerals. Like no computer would work without minerals and even some rare earth elements. Remember that in the full matrix of minerals that makes up the human body, if you look, you will see there's gold, silver, aluminum, titanium. All those elements in their mineral form is what makes up the human body. A computer would not work without the minerals is within it. The human body requires the full matrix of minerals. You will not work if you are getting a fraction of those minerals. So in other words, you will be restoring your vitality and your concentration, your focus, your mental and your mental abilities and capabilities if you're getting the full matrix of minerals and you're taking rare superfoods. Someone said, can you take too much superfoods at once? No. And remember, all chalk supplements are formulated to work in conjunction with one another. But, okay, and the most popular combination for men is the daily action, and for women, the most popular is the Shilajit and 7 Wonders. However, this is the final extension on chalk's 44% off lifetime discount using the code 44life or the code 50 off for 50% off all orders store-wide. Final extension, supply chain disruptions incoming, okay, imminent. You may not be able to get these types of discount codes, but Chalk will reserve enough supply for anyone who is currently subscribed. Your supply will not be impacted, extending any extenuated circumstances. But anyone who hasn't subscribed and is hoping maybe I'll get it next week, yada, yada, we don't know if that even is a possibility based on what Klaus Schwab is saying. 50% off discount code using the code 50OFF is best for anyone overseas looking to get a multi-month supply so that they can take and experience the 90-day Chalk Challenge. The one that has chaga in it is the 7 Wonders Adaptogenic Mushroom Blend. The best deal for anyone within the United States is the code 44LIFE. 44% off lifetime discount. Do not miss out on the final extension of this deal and message me saying, dude, the code's not working. Sorry, I warned you. Action 2.0, I didn't mention, by the way, is for all-day natural energy levels. Increases blood oxygen content, increases nitric oxide levels in your body. Keep in mind, the website for this is in the link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio. You'll see it's chalk.com, CHOQ.com. DM me if you don't know what the codes are. DM me if you want any clarity and any questions you got. They will be answered. Action 2.0 is for all-day natural energy levels for men or women. Subtle energy throughout the day. Significant difference compared to drinking a coffee or having an energy drink, etc. Do you still have Irish moss? Chalk does have a limited supply of the Irish moss. High purity, full matrix of minerals. Definitely want to get yourself a bottle of these. Share with your dad. Your dad's testosterone levels are out of whack. Your mom, her fertility, who knows? Let's get everyone optimized and calibrated to their biological design that they should be at. With that being said, everyone, join me in my private uncensored Telegram channel. Do not miss out on this deal. Chalk does deliver worldwide. All the supplements are formulated to work in conjunction with one another. DM me if you have any questions. And look at the divot that left in my forehead, boy. We'll talk soon, everyone. Much love. I will upload this to the BitChute channel. With that being said, talk soon. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you on tonight's live feed. Come on, man. Let's go.